Can you imagine a murder in the digital world? In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker are about to unravel a web of deceit. Who murdered Blackwood and why? Stay tuned to uncover the mystery of the Malware Murder. Now, as we prepare to dive into our story, make sure you're comfortable. Are you ready? It's story time. In the heart of Silicon Valley, the sun was setting, casting long shadows over the glass and steel edifices that housed the world's most innovative minds. The air was abuzz with the hum of electricity and the faint clatter of keyboards, a symphony of progress that never ceased. Within one such building, a crime scene was unfolding. The office of Adrian Blackwood, a renowned tech mogul, was eerily silent. The room was a stark contrast to the bustling world outside, a still life painted in shades of chrome and glass. The only sign of life was the glow of a computer screen, illuminating a cryptic message, a piece of malicious code. Detective Laura Hart stepped into the room, her seasoned eyes scanning the scene. She was a woman of medium height, with sharp features softened by a hint of weariness. Her dark hair was pulled back into a neat bun, and her gaze was as steady as her notepad was ready. "Any signs of forced entry?" she asked, her voice cutting through the silence. "None," replied Officer Daniels, a young cop with a nervous twitch. "The door was locked from the inside. No signs of struggle either." Hart nodded, her gaze fixed on the computer screen. She didn't understand the code, but she knew it was out of place. She jotted down a note, her handwriting a series of sharp, decisive strokes. The investigation continued, with Hart questioning Blackwood's staff and associates. She listened to their testimonies, her gaze never wavering, her notepad filling up with names and potential leads. Yet the lack of physical evidence or clear motive left her at a dead end. In her years on the force, Hart had faced many challenging cases, but this was different. This was a world she didn't understand, a world where crimes were committed with keystrokes instead of guns. She needed help, and she knew just where to find it. Ethan Echo Choi was hunched over his computer when Hart found him. His apartment was a stark contrast to Blackwood's office, cluttered with wires and old tech. Echo himself was a wiry man, with unkempt hair and glasses perched precariously on his nose. His fingers danced over the keyboard, a ballet of precision and speed. "I need your help, Echo," Hart said, her voice steady. Echo paused, his fingers hovering over the keys. He turned to face her, his expression unreadable behind his glasses. "Why should I help you?" he asked, his voice a low monotone. "Because you owe me one," Hart replied, meeting his gaze. "And because a man is dead." Echo was silent for a moment, his gaze shifting between Hart and his computer. Finally, he sighed, pushing his glasses up his nose. "Fine," he said. "Show me the code." Their first collaboration was a study in contrasts. Hart watched as Echo deciphered the code, her notepad filled with his explanations. His words were a foreign language to her, filled with terms she didn't understand. Yet, she listened, her gaze never leaving his face. Despite their differences, Echo managed to decipher part of the malicious code. His eyes widened as he read the decoded message, a sense of dread creeping into his voice. This is part of a larger program," he said, his gaze meeting Hart's. "This isn't just a murder, detective. It's a declaration of war." The words hung in the air, a chilling end to their first day together. As Hart left Echo's apartment, the sun had long since set, plunging Silicon Valley into darkness. Yet the hum of progress continued, oblivious to the storm brewing within its heart. The city of innovation was now a city of secrets, and it was up to Hart and Echo to unravel them. As Hart drove away, she glanced at her notepad, filled with Echo's cryptic explanations. She didn't understand all of it, but she understood enough. This was bigger than a single murder. This was a mystery that delved into the very heart of the digital world, a world she was only beginning to understand. Back in his apartment, Echo stared at the decoded message, his mind racing. He had seen code like this before. In a past he had tried to forget. He knew what it could do, the chaos it could cause, and now it was in the hands of a killer. The night was deepening, and with it, the mystery. The pieces were in place, the players introduced. The game was afoot, and there was no turning back. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker were about to embark on a journey into the unknown. A journey that would test their resolve, their skills, and their trust in each other. A journey into the heart of the digital world, where secrets were hidden in lines of code and danger lurked in the shadows of the web. As the city slept, oblivious to the storm brewing within its heart, the first chapter of their journey had come to a close. But this was only the beginning. The mystery of the malware murder was just starting to unfold, and there was no telling where it would lead them. The morning sun streamed through the window of Echo's apartment, casting long shadows over the clutter of wires and old tech. Echo was already at his computer, his eyes scanning lines of code, his mind lost in the digital maze. The code was complex, a labyrinth of commands and functions that would have baffled most. But Echo was not most. He was a prodigy, a maestro of the digital world. And yet, even for him, the code was a challenge. It was a part of something larger, something dangerous. But what that something was, he couldn't tell. Meanwhile, across town, Detective Laura Hart was conducting her own investigation. She sat in a sterile conference room across from one of Blackwood's associates, a woman with sharp eyes and a sharper tongue. Adrian was paranoid, the woman said, her voice a low whisper. He said he was being watched, that they were after him. Who are they? Hart asked, her pen poised over her notepad. The woman shrugged, her eyes darting away. He never said. I thought he was just stressed, overworked. I didn't think... Her voice trailed off, and Hart didn't press. She thanked the woman for her time and left, her mind buzzing with new information. Blackwood had been threatened, that much was clear. But by whom? And why? Back at his apartment, Echo was wrestling with his own demons. The code was familiar, too familiar. It reminded him of his past, of a time when he was not the one solving crimes, but committing them. He had left that life behind, or so he thought. But the past, it seemed, had a way of catching up. As the day wore on, Echo made a breakthrough. The code was traced back to an underground hacker group known for their notorious cybercrimes. The revelation sent a chill down his spine. He knew them, had worked with them, and now they were involved in a murder. When Hart arrived at Echo's apartment later that day, she found him hunched over his computer, his face pale. He told her about the hacker group, his words tumbling out in a rush. Hart listened, her expression unreadable. "And why didn't you tell me about your past, Echo?" she asked when he was done, her voice steady. Echo looked at her, his eyes wide behind his glasses. I thought it didn't matter. I'm not that person anymore." "But you were," Hart said, her gaze never leaving his face. "And that matters." The confrontation was heated, their words echoing in the small apartment. But when the dust settled, there was a new understanding between them. A partnership forged in the fires of conflict. As the day turned into night, an unexpected threat emerged. Echo's system was infiltrated, his screen flashing with a warning. They were being watched, their every move tracked. The realization hit them like a punch to the gut. The stakes had just been raised. In the heart of Silicon Valley, as the city slept, a detective and a hacker were caught in a web of secrets and lies. The mystery was deepening, the danger escalating, and they were right in the middle of it. The dawn found Echo and Hart in the midst of chaos. Echo's apartment was a whirlwind of activity, the air thick with tension. Echo was at his computer, his fingers flying over the keys as he worked to secure his system. Hart watched him, her mind racing with the implications of their situation. The infiltration was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the danger they were in. They were being watched, their every move tracked by unseen eyes. The realization was chilling, a cold knot in the pit of their stomachs. While Echo wrestled with the digital threat, Hart delved deeper into the physical world. She attended a tech convention, a sea of innovation and ambition. She was a stranger in a strange land, her traditional methods clashing with the tech-dominated world. The convention was a goldmine of information. She learned more about Blackwood's professional life, about the alliances he had formed and the enemies he had made. She listened to whispers of corporate espionage, of deals made in shadowy corners. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, but the picture was far from complete. Back at his apartment, Echo was fighting his own battles. The hacker group was a ghost from his past, a specter he had hoped to leave behind. But the past was not done with him. He was drawn back into the world he had left, his guilt and fear a constant companion. Despite their struggles, Hart and Echo made progress. Hart uncovered new leads, potential motives for Blackwood's murder. Echo, on the other hand, managed to find a potential lead within the hacker group. They were making headway, moving closer to the truth. Their investigation led them to an unexpected ally, a member of the hacker group who also wanted to uncover the truth. The alliance was tenuous, built on mutual suspicion and necessity, but it was a start, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. As the day turned into night, a new challenge emerged, a cryptic message from an unknown source hinting at a deeper conspiracy. The message was a riddle, a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, and it was up to Hart and Echo to solve it. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker were caught in a web of secrets and lies. The mystery was deepening, the danger escalating, and they were right in the middle of it. As the city slept, oblivious to the storm brewing within its heart, Hart and Echo were wide awake. They were on a journey into the unknown, a journey that would test their resolve, their skills, and their trust in each other. The morning found Hart and Echo in the throes of a new challenge. The cryptic message they had received was a puzzle, a jigsaw of words and codes that defied understanding. But they were undeterred. They dove into the task, their minds working in tandem, their determination unwavering. The message was a labyrinth, a maze of hidden meanings and veiled threats. But as they navigated its twists and turns, a picture began to emerge. A picture of corporate espionage, of power struggles and betrayals. A picture that painted Blackwood not as a victim, but as a player in a dangerous game. Hart grappled with the implications of their findings. She was a detective, sworn to uphold the law. But the law seemed inadequate, ill-equipped to handle the complexities of the digital world. She found herself questioning their methods, the lines they were crossing in their pursuit of the truth. Echo, on the other hand, was diving deeper into his past. His interactions with the hacker group were a journey into a world he had left behind. He was a stranger in a familiar land, his past and present colliding in a whirlwind of memories and regrets. Their alliance with the hacker group member, once a beacon of hope, was now a source of conflict. They discovered he had been withholding information, playing them for fools. The betrayal stung, a bitter pill to swallow. But it also fueled their determination. They were not just investigators now. They were players in the game. Despite the setbacks, they made progress. The message was decoded, its secrets laid bare. And what they found was shocking. Blackwood's murder was not a random act of violence. It was a calculated move in a game of power and control. As the day turned into night, they found themselves facing a new threat. Another system infiltration, more aggressive than the last. The warning was clear. They were getting too close, digging too deep. The stakes had never been higher. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker were caught in a web of deceit. They were players in a game they barely understood, pawns in a power struggle they were only beginning to comprehend. But they were not deterred. They were determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As the city slept, oblivious to the storm brewing within its heart, Hart and Echo were wide awake. They were on a journey into the unknown, a journey that would test their resolve, their skills, and their trust in each other. The morning sun found Hart and Echo in the midst of a crisis. The threat was real, the danger imminent. But they were not deterred. They were fighters, survivors. They took measures to protect themselves, their determination a beacon in the storm. The conspiracy was a tangled web, a maze of deceit and betrayal. But they were not lost. They followed the threads, unraveling the secrets, exposing the lies. They delved deeper into the power struggle within Blackwood's company, the corporate espionage that had cost a man his life. Hart was a detective, a seeker of truth. But the truth she found was not what she expected. She discovered a personal connection to the case, a link she hadn't anticipated. The revelation was a shock, a blow that left her reeling. But it also fueled her determination. She had a personal stake in the investigation now, a reason to fight that went beyond duty. Echo, on the other hand, was a hacker, a master of the digital world, and he proved his worth once again. He identified the source of the system infiltrations, a lead that brought them closer to the person behind the threats. The breakthrough was a victory, a ray of hope in the darkness. The confrontation with the hacker group member was inevitable. They had been betrayed, their trust broken. The encounter was tense, a clash of wills and words, but it was also revealing. They learned more about the conspiracy, about the players in the game. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place. With the truth within their grasp, Hart and Echo devised a plan. They would expose the conspiracy, reveal the truth behind Blackwood's murder. The plan was risky, fraught with danger, but they were ready. They had come too far to back down now. As the day turned into night, they found themselves facing a new challenge. A key character disappeared, their absence a mystery that added to the uncertainty. The disappearance was a twist, a curveball that left them reeling. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker were caught in a web of deceit. They were players in a game they barely understood, pawns in a power struggle they were only beginning to comprehend. But they were not deterred. They were determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As the city slept, oblivious to the storm brewing within its heart, Hart and Echo were wide awake. They were on a journey into the unknown, a journey that would test their resolve, their skills, and their trust in each other. The morning sun found Hart and Echo in the midst of a frantic search. The disappearance of their key character was a mystery, a puzzle that needed solving. They followed leads, chased shadows, their determination unwavering. As they delved deeper into the mystery, they unraveled the final threads of the conspiracy. The motives behind Blackwood's murder came to light, a tale of greed and power. The truth was a harsh reality, a bitter pill to swallow. But it was a reality they had to face. Hart grappled with her personal connection to the case, her emotions a whirlwind of confusion and anger. But she found a resolution, a sense of peace amidst the chaos. The revelations strengthened her, fueled her determination. She was not just a detective anymore. She was a woman seeking justice. Echo, on the other hand, was caught in a battle with his past. His connections to the hacker group were a ghost, a specter that haunted him. But he faced his past, confronted his fears. The showdown was a test of his courage, his loyalty, and he emerged victorious. The climax of their journey was a confrontation with the person behind the threats, the architect of the conspiracy. The confrontation was a battle of wits and wills, a dance on the edge of danger. But they were ready. They had a plan, a strategy, and they executed it with precision. The truth behind Blackwood's murder was revealed, the conspiracy exposed. Justice was served, the guilty punished. The resolution was a victory, a triumph of truth over deceit. As the dust settled, Hart and Echo found themselves reflecting on their journey. They had faced challenges, overcome obstacles. They had learned lessons, grown stronger. Their partnership had evolved, transformed into a bond of trust and respect. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a detective and a hacker had solved a mystery, unraveled a conspiracy. They had brought justice to a man wronged, exposed a web of deceit. They had emerged victorious, their resolve unbroken. As the city slept, oblivious to the storm that had raged within its heart, Hart and Echo were wide awake. They were on a journey, a journey that had come to an end. But it was an end that marked a new beginning, a promise of future adventures. As our story comes to a close, let the lull of this soothing ambiance continue to cradle you further into your journey of calmness and rest. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your relaxation and sleep routine tonight. Remember, each day brings a new story, and each night brings a fresh chance to regenerate, to dream, and to become more of who you are. As this background sound lulls you further into sleep, I hope you find peace, comfort, and a well-deserved rest. Good night, dear listener. Until our next story, sleep well and dream beautifully.